I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, April the 2nd, brought to you in part by Performance Livestock Analytics, a livestock technology company that simplifies data and analytics for the livestock industry. Always improving the mindset. They've got new product improvements in the last year, and they've got more coming on the horizon. For more information, go to performancelivestockanalytics.com. Reciprocal. Reciprocal means fair or balanced. And that is the tariffs that's going to be coming down here today on Wednesday. Reciprocal tariffs, which reciprocal basically means do unto others what they have done unto you. So that's what we're planning for most countries. If they've got tariffs on the products that we're putting into their country as imports, then we're going to put tariffs on the same level, the same percentage of what they're bringing into our country. So who could be upset about that? Many countries are striking out the tariffs that they've got on our goods going into their country because they want tariff-free their products coming into ours. So that's great, and that's what we would really want in a perfect world, would be no tariffs. But we're tired of getting our eyeballs screwed out here. But we are going to be having more tariffs on Canada and Mexico, our closest neighbors there. 25% they're going to be enacted. We had talked about that a month or two ago, but now they're going to be coming on. But and you feel bad about it. I mean, some of my favorite people I've ever met are from Canada, but they're not just friendly northern neighbors. They've also had significant tariffs on the products that we send up north to them. Near 300% on the dairy products that we send up north to sell. But and also sizable other imports on other products that we send up north there. But Mexico is more here and there. But Mexico also watched caravans of illegal immigrants march across their country to come to our border, to come in illegally, and they just sat there and watched it. A lot of them having fentanyl and drugs and things coming across there. And so we're going to get some things straightened out here. I mean, I hired Trump with my vote, and I think a lot of you folks did too, and he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. It's amazing to see a president do what he said he was going to do, but he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do, and we just need to get things kind of lined out here for a while. But, things are coming around. People are showing patience, and this is going to happen, and it's going to shake the markets up a little bit more, even though it's already shaken our markets up quite a bit. But we're going to get through this, and we're all going to be better for it. I want to tell you about a replacement sale that's coming up here on Thursday. Callaway Livestock Center is having a big special here on April the 3rd. On Thursday at 5 o'clock, they're going to have the Wheeler Angus Spring Bull Sale. They got several nice bulls there on offer, and also some really impressive replacement females. But then at 6 o'clock p.m. on April the 3rd, Callaway Livestock Center is going to have their special cow sale, and they've got over 1,000 head of replacements, including 5 big dispersals. And they're going to have first calf heifer pairs. They're going to have some other young pairs. They're going to have young bred cows, running age bred cows. I mean, just about anything you would want. A lot of people are deciding to cash in with these all-time record high prices at every level, and you can't blame them for that. But that's going to be on DVAuction.com coming up here this Thursday evening, Callaway Livestock Center. Let's talk about your board on Tuesday. April live cattle futures up 132 at 209.12. June up 177 at 205.42, and your back months on live cattle all up even bigger than that, from 185 higher to 260 higher. And we always think the world's coming to the end when the board opens up the week on Monday lower, but come back even stronger higher on Tuesday. April feeder cattle up 182 at 288.27. May was up 265 at 287.15, and your back months on feeder cattle up big, from up 265 to up 317. Your grains were up big on Tuesday. May corn was up 4.5 cents a bushel at 461 3/4. Soybeans for May up 19.5 at 1034 1/4. Hard red winter wheat for May up 8 1/4 cents at 565 1/4, and it's looking like we're going to have the smallest wheat crop that we've had, or the second smallest wheat crop we've had in 100 years. But let's look at your fat cattle trade. We haven't seen anything really at all happen on a direct basis. Of course, that's normal for early in the week. We had a few on Monday in Iowa sell at 210. Who's doing that? Nebraska sold a load of dairy cattle at $3 dressed on Tuesday. Just nothing. Kansas and Texas has not sold a hoof yet on a direct basis on our fed cattle arena. But we did have our market maker, like we always have on Tuesday. Gotta love them. Stockman's Livestock Market in Yankton, South Dakota, the biggest fat cattle auction we have in the nation. They had 1,000 in overnight, 1,500 head for the fat cattle auction in Yankton, South Dakota. Conventional fat cattle sold $2 to $3 lower, from $205 to $212.50, but that's still pretty impressive. Program cattle, non-implanted or drug-free, sold from $211 to $217.50, and that's from 50 cents to $3 higher than a week ago, so there wasn't those premium type cattle. Some two-way cattle that could either go to kill or go back to feed. They went back to feed. They were non-implanted, weighed 1346 and bring 220 1/4. That's pretty optimistic there. They had 30 steers, conventional fat steers that weighed 1929, that bring $200.50. That gives you an idea how big they'll take them, guys. But as a whole, the offering was not as desirable as it was a week ago. And Gary Marks, that gives us this information, said that the dressed cost in the ring would actually be higher than last week, even on the conventional cattle that ended up selling lower. Box beef cutout values were sharply higher on Tuesday, with choice cuts up 696 at 342.22. Selects were up 206 at 322.07. A lot of that brought on by the slaughter cuts that the packers are bringing on. Slaughter this week, up through the first 2 days of this week, 227,000 estimated cattle slaughter under a federal inspection. That's 16,000 less than last week, just 2,000 less than the same week a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. It's bull sale season time, guys, and Charolais may be an answer for you to achieve yield grade premiums while still maintaining quality grade. Look into Charolais, guys. You can increase your red meat yield, reduce your days on feed, and still get the cattle to where you want them to go, and increase your dollars per head at every level there. For more information, go to poundsmatter.com. Talk about your feeder cattle market, brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance, working to protect your livelihood. Your real-time index from DVAuction, based on an 800-pound cash auction steer up through your middle 12 states, up to date and current after your Tuesday sales, sitting at 289.86. That was up another 26 cents, so still higher. Your CME cash feeder cattle index come down off of that big record that it posted there after your late last week sales, with your Monday posting or Tuesday posting at 291.02. Sale that's coming up here on Friday. Coffeyville Stockyards having their spring video sale. It's going to be in Stillwater, Oklahoma. I'm going to be there to take bids for DVAuction coming up on Friday evening. Check that out. They've got some really nice loads of cattle there selling commercially on video. Let's talk about your big sales that happened on Tuesday. Ozarks Regional Stockyard in West Plains, Missouri had 1,900 through the ring, another 700 head selling on their in-house video that they have weekly with help from DVAuction. Through the ring, your feeders were not well tested. Not a lot of cattle heavy enough to go right into the feed yard. Steer calves were uneven. Heifer calves steady to $4 higher. Another sale, Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma, had a good run there. 3,300 head, lighter than what they've been having, but just kind of in a lull here between the cattle coming right off wheat and then your graze out cattle. But feeders sold $3 to $7 higher than last week in Beaver, Oklahoma. Calves were steady to $3 higher. They were your NationalBeefWire stick-out sale of the day. And look at this automated auction report from Cattle Market Central, and you see your best tested weights. How about 284 head of 6-weight steers in Beaver, average 643 at 337.91. 298 head of 7-weight steers in Beaver, average 769 at 303.16. There were 408 head of 8-weight steers in Beaver, Oklahoma. They averaged 842 at 284.27, and 769 head of the 9-weight steers at Beaver County Stockyards averaged 938 with a weighted average price of 266.50. Look at some heifers, just your best tested weights there. 208 head of 5-weight heifers averaged 544 at 350.30, and 334 head of 8-weight heifers averaged 833 at Beaver County Stockyards with a weighted average price of 259.03. The most impressive quote that I saw out of Beaver on Tuesday was 88 feeder steers weighed 792 and bring 304. Some impressive individual quotes from all around. How about kind of a out of the ordinary quote from Fredonia Livestock Auction in Fredonia, Kansas. They had a producer there. Time got away from him, and he ended up having some really big Charolais Cross bulls that he brought in. He sold 47 Charolais Cross bulls, and they weighed 1093. These would be feeder bulls going to Nebraska to feed. Weighed 1093, a load of them bring 238. Had another set heavier than that, 20 head of Charolais Cross bulls, weighed 1246. They ended up going down to the Gulf of America, down around the Louisiana border there at 230. He's going to use part of those bulls to breed his cows and maybe feed the rest of them. But pretty outstanding quote there on something that doesn't happen every day. How about some more individual quotes? How about Kingsville Livestock Auction in Kingsville, Missouri? They sell 115 Pee-wee steers weighed 433 at 434.50. Big time quote there. How about Atkinson Livestock Market up on the Yellow Brick Road there in Nebraska? 174 steers weighed 663, bring 363. Wow, that's a big time quote. How about further up in the Northern Plains? Kimball Livestock Exchange in Kimball, South Dakota sells 206 steers, weighed 830 pounds at 303. It hasn't weakened, guys. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Tuesday in your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Unionville Livestock Market in Unionville, Missouri there. It was our Rockin' R's, our friends at the Rockin' R's at Lucerne, Missouri. It's impressive how they background those steers and keep enough good in them where the buyers still really desire those cattle. They had 4 loads of feeder steers there. They averaged 850 pounds a load with an average price of $290.84. And that's your feeder flash for Wednesday.